Yeah, I'm just wondering, talked about, when we talk about the current postponement of the elections, oftentimes we look at it in light of what had transpired in the 2015 elections, when elections were shifted. Now, there were accusations then by the opposition that the ruling party as at that time was not prepared for the elections. Could we transpose the same reason on, what the situation in Edo State, if we think that there is any reason why this election should be shifted other than the reasons that have been given?
Yes, my answer would be a straight yes.
How?
To that. Let's not go too deep. It is when you start going behind the surface that you may start asking questions and you get details that may be different.
Opposition,
but yes, presently, yes, opposition is PDP. Presently, the roles have changed. Then APC was in opposition. PDP is today also saying that the elections should not be postponed and that there was more that meets the eye than just security reasons. And that was the same thing that we also spoke about during the 2015 election when Dasuki made his attempts to postpone the elections, and INEC yielded. So it is, in my view, I think, yes, the same suspicions, the same issues, the same body of oppositions, the same reasoning of opposition then is still, in my view, existing now, without going so far into the details. Because
so how would you say, in this instance, how would you, considering the fact that, just on Tuesday, the party in power in Edo State, the APC, had their grand rally. The president had come over, they had this really huge rally, and it looked like it was a final push. That was how it was marketed. Would you still say that they were not prepared? Or that either side, was not prepared?
No. What is happening is that either the security agencies are not prepared, or the same reasons that were behind, that were not apparent during the Dasuki event, are still the same reasons playing themselves out today. And the fact that there were rallies by both APC and PDP would not derogate from the fact that certain currents may also be flowing underneath. And you cannot take it away from the fact that a lot of things in Nigerian political terrain happen behind closed doors. That they are not apparent to Nigerians. And it is easy in this kind of situation for people to have that suspicion.
Mr. Ikeji, what I want you to do for us and our viewers is to be a bit more specific. From your reading as a legal practitioner and as an observer,
yes,
what do you think could be some of the readings, some of the reasons, other than that has been given by the security agencies?
I think it is lack of preparedness.
On the part of who?
On the part of both the security agencies and perhaps INEC. Possibly INEC.
But how do you say that? Because if they deployed 25,000 policemen, INEC said, no, we're going to go ahead, we're not privy to that information. Yes. At the initial stage, how can we then say that both of them were not ready?
There's no other explanation available. The only other explanation available is that you will now try to lift the veil. You will try to lift the cover of the excuses that they are giving, the reasons that they are giving. To us, if you say you can't hold the elections on September 10th and that you want it postponed, it simply means that you are not prepared.
I think they need to come clean on this, because what this means, it reminds us of what Professor Tajuddin Akonji has said. He said, well, if they're saying that the threat is around the Muslim festival, the Salah period, are they also telling the Muslims that their festival should also be postponed, since that's where the threat lies?
Absolutely brilliant intervention by the professor. I agree with that intervention. You see, we cannot wish the fact away that no matter how legally correct some of our actions are, and I as a lawyer have researched and have searched, and everything regarding the postponement up until September 28th, very much within the law, because such section 46, for example, of the Electoral Act provides for a 14-day window of notice of election. And having given that notice today or yesterday by INEC, they fulfilled that section. Section 178 of the Constitution also says that elections shall be held not later than 30 days before the date of handover. And I think the date of handover is November 12th. So legally speaking, what they have done is correct. But it is not everything that is legally correct that is morally right or that should be sociologically accepted.
It's a law about morals.
Law is not about morals, and that is why they are working with law. And they're not looking at the moral side. Because if you look at the moral side, it will affect the integrity quotient of the process itself.
But then, doesn't that mean, because I reckon that may also apply to the students, will they be able to safely go out there and write the exams? But some, on the flip side, they will argue that, well, elections is a larger scenario. So if maybe exams, you could deploy that amount of policemen who may, quote unquote, adequately secure the students if they were to write the exam. So that fly for you?
No, it doesn't fly. Chamberlain, honestly speaking, there is no reason whatsoever why the election should be postponed. They had, if you ask me, 4 years to prepare for Saturday, September 10. And 4 years preparation, you are now asking for a further extension of 2 weeks. You must hold the elections nevertheless. Nonetheless, you must hold the election no matter what. Notwithstanding whatsoever, you must hold the election.
But security
so
lives...
if on 28 September, further security reports now shows that there is still some level of security threat, are you now going to also postpone it further? So the earlier we tackle the issues and wait for the consequences, the results, so as to handle the results as they come, so that we don't fall into the trap of acting unconstitutionally and illegally, the better for everybody.
I think Mark was going. Mark?
Mr. Ikeji, you're also aware that, Salah celebrations will be taking place all over the country in many, and the police have said that usually what happens is that they deploy people from all around the country, policemen from all around the country, to a state that is holding elections. So if they do that, they claim that they will be stretched thin, and it could cause a threat in other parts of the country, especially for the Salah celebrations. Don't you see any reason in the reason that they have given?
I see a reason in what they have given, because I've said that you can give verifiable and cogent reasons to support any action you want to take. But I don't see the genuineness in that reason. I don't see the reason as being backed by integrity. And I'll tell you why. September 10, the elections would have held. By September 11, the security personnel would have been dispatched, at least to the extent that they are no longer needed at the polling units, to the extent that just a handful will be required perhaps to provide security around the collation centers, and the rest will be deployed to other areas of the country. So we are still back to the issue of inefficiency. Even if you ask me, even with INEC, with the system, with our electoral system, we are having a very, very big problem today in Nigeria. And it tells on the democracy. I don't think this democracy is getting better for this kind of postponements. We are talking about inconclusive elections. We are talking about violence in elections. In Rivers State, for example, they've continued to postpone election from one date to the other. How long will you continue to postpone? You must encounter what you must encounter, and you must confront whatever you must confront at any point in time. Why postpone it? Why wait? Why take it further down the line in date?
But about this postponement, do we blame INEC? Because look, INEC, they don't control security. They've said, look, they were ready for the elections, but you keep saying you don't think that that's the case. But if they had security situations, as were eventually told, that is beyond them, if security cannot guarantee safety of lives, wouldn't it be foolhardy for INEC to have gone ahead?
Let me give you this scenario. What has stopped INEC from having tendered a bill for electronic voting or for a law to support card reader? You must take everything in whole. There is a level of inefficiency in INEC that we are not ready to admit.
If they tender that and it's approved and we vote electronically, how will that change the situation?
The point I'm trying to make is that if INEC is not inefficient or INEC has no fault in this issue. By now, they would have taken different kinds of steps that you know that not only are they trying to do something, you will also see that yes, they are trying to do something to take our electoral process to the next level. But they are not doing anything.
But electronic voting,
the situation still remains. Tomorrow now, or on the date of the election, you will now hear that electoral materials arrive 3 p.m., 4 p.m.
Isn't that a different matter? Logistics.
No, that's why I said. That's why I said you have to take them wholly. You cannot extricate one from the other. If INEC has put its house in order, I can assure you that it would have taken all necessary steps to ensure that these holidays, whatever that will happen during holidays, will not affect the elections. And how would they have done that? It is not just by depending strictly on security agencies. Over a period of time, they would have been having several interactions, several.
We'll look at that a little further in just a moment. Join us again.